Matisen Rao Kopeke o nomination form sanity.
Sanity pepe. Na afi we no ye Sakremu kakraba.
Okay.
Na Sakremu aba no eno ne se anka ne na anka ye bebo chenku ama nipa edi echi ne yakọ party office constituency office akọ peke from ani yakọ fan krata say ye pese yesi akan na ye to yeso aba am ye be ye parliamentary candidate and I'm saying NDC asesa niemom kakra
okay
ya fa abefo kwan so e na ye niema the say ani ntino
Asempa
FM nkrata ne gu abefo antimpoint so ye
internet so
sa wokọ bia ye de ato na sika ese utua ansansa kakrata no na afa abefo kwa so etua
okay
utua ne ama wa hyenso de anase code bi na wo de egu na hyese waje nkrata no
okay
na waye
and who download
na wo wi na wo de akọ ama nipa etawachi e wo constituency ni mu no e branch executive I endorse ama e do mo sa sha se omo ji utum se omo tawachi se kọ
okay
na kọ pray eye akensi edip nti eye between 20th and 22nd March and your denomination forms in Ebeko. And I say, be official filing.
As a more obey 1 month.
Obey 1 month. Say,
okay.
And I'm on 2 years a good to know.
Okay.
A Dawson.
Okay.
The sign into no. Your mouth break a crack. I'm out with it. Now, wako. Into a me and the paper.
Picture where a picture being.
And now, one say, I feel 2019. Many the pounds soon and a pray.
Yes, primaries no. Yeah.
Now, say, Kobani Sana, a man in Chichimune. Won't you ever know a doors because so we are as a can depend on album. Na afe 2024 I can see a yekus. You say in Kabom Yadi here empire. Intino a break a crane in Comodia Cracoso.
Okay.
Me and a young ransom you know home for this.
Okay.
Omo yam rantia. Omunsusu ya no my drench and you mendisu adi huna. Omo what my ake no and media no
okay.
We have similar visions and strategies
for the constituency.
And we share a year and ranch any more than money see or more our constituency in Mona.
Okay.
Dear Ojana sending fast home for the friend cake agree. I am a junior school university.
Oh, okay.
Meaning that the same course. So I'm down for the data.
Okay.
And yes, Uncle Shia way contest. In 2019, we had 210 votes. Until you'll be he carries a lot of it. And now the original bank no say no emosahi.
Okay.
Honestly you'll be a urban home than papa. He's making inroads in the constituency. Into your bank home home say you because go see I can see and that's when him say I can see a sikasem. Sure. And I first one share your name papa mu campaign no na akofa bibiaba. Into say na be ya pa no twa no bibia be ye mre na niema aba form. Na yetumi aka bomu ententemunti no omo yese omo besi form na omo tamechi
omo tro omo support
say na be ya once we share similar visions and ideas and strategies in the omo tamechi mom na me nkona me ninkunim na eyesa na after primaries no enka bom na nyet because there to be just 1 or 2 competitors bia me ni omo beko na chi so say sikase ye basa nke betumi aka bom na ye the face MP4 in the main election 2024 internally and I concretize it. Nkomodie no anase nra na bibia wie peye.
Okay.
Anti twa sanfoni.
Oh, that's nice.
No etene bibia o consensus mo sampa. There's a certain synergy.
Yeah.
Boa amankonimdie no aba. It's a idea yard papa. Won say Dr. Beda Samwa.
Yeah.
Now chairman. NDC chairman the baby chairman. On can assembly. I say consensus building is the best form of democracy.
Yeah.
Won say kabima mi kebina no kra say abatu wo.
Sure.
Ya mo bia kire na dwen. Actually power person within the country within the name say na mom no hwe nsi ho kwan se nipa bi adwen ko bankro mu a musi nkonya na moto ato adwene kase se ye nyina wa akọ pray ankra fam de nka yenko nipa ba ko achi na onko and also it's part of democracy
very much
so consensus building so we've been able to build consensus so it's a positive sign
for the constituency
afi we no enema ebe ye mre asene ebe bi atwam and we are more likely to have a more united front than before. It's a very progressive step up.
Yeah, I see that. I say that.
Now, more importantly, and for me, that is what matters the most. Say in Kabum because these are very formidable men.
Yeah,
they control sizable chunks of the constituency. It is almost unsupported. omoni omochita for kasa na dia e be ma niam
aye easy kakra ma it is see no na just say wo wafa no are you aware say other people being so afa
ne atie ne say because of insakra ya aba say ofa
obi fakra
obi kwa ade say bia ebraso
na mo ko file
e na obehu say nipa dodo say na file sisi ade as far as mimi nim no me e na mafa aha so obi afa dia me because there's no evidence to show. But me sure say so be so you're interested that they can go through the same process. Yes.
The last primaries no so that can number nipa 8 right?
Yes.
And no who win na margin net saying
I think 321.
Okay.
And now you na margin 26
between only the closest contender.
But say them can get agbenya 210.
Okay.
Obinya 180. 91. So yes, split it.
Yeah.
So it was a split. But this time no, it won't happen.
In the meaning says as 210 190 no. Let's even assume so many normal supporters bet 2 hour.
You know that the difference will be wider. But what it means is say we are not likely to see that kind of wide split.
Sure.
Until the margin of victory no may be wider than before.
Yes.
But me dey hear me pa mo in Kabo.
In Kabo.
As for victory in there, I'm certain
that you will win
because I mean, wokwa from out to me who say, your call 2024 about 2020. I mean, the performance you put up was fantastic. Just said, Kabibika Krebi.
What was the Naga player saying?
176 from
176
from a gap of 1,740 in 2016. About 176. And Ukrainian do not so say, first never be quite sure that there was some underhand dealings. But you didn't have to achieve. What it means. They say your message you record nipa do na agitu but ebia bibi kakra to see until we correct that and it is much better eye bebre say why adwuma kodu ba bia wotoa so sense obehya ase bi modan ya mutimi da meka moto foundation ansa na mo pega dan into moto foundation and I started block work na dia some more beto aso some move foundation unless there's something major wrong with foundation moto aso just happen na AK4 NDC delegates ayo madwen say omobeye ehun hia se sign ko share the media as for making was a politics if be instant name and face recognition so what the candidate kwa abatwa so wunya candidate akola akora hu na ohye ne so it is 2020 ya ye adwuma it is aton me in all 265 communities am obi enemy my year 1 or 2 things in the various communities obi out to me den sa etche we na why there's no point to reinventing it one sign enkosesa enkofa afi na wo sign nipa no so ni the kind of name and face recognition na nipa no wo and afi so me kan tu me ho sabi in all humility maybe say MPF and say you will struggle to recollect name
as a member of parliament currently for abra say bukwama nkese
you will struggle kakra
Morrison right
Elvis Morrison but I say it is not a household name because of that in internet
but so a chairman of the mines and energy committee
but he is not a household name so I'd say because of that any in see onye any his inability to project the constituency amaya kechiri na constituency say AAK with our rich history in the NDC and then say nipa ho ne ade no we deserve far more than this sort of obscurity just say ye de eko hinta ye nte yenka integrate do see e beti yenka I will provide that because anya hwe kwa me de me ho beje sa agro mu since 2020 constituency need din akoso and it has become a household name amamanfo ka ebodin that kind of recognition any ba beba bedwem no eyade enya sabi bible kra ka se yen so ka ne mfa nhye pono ase e se odi si epono no so na asren amamanfo no obi amfa ne na mpem ko enti wo kanini a ne din no wo ba wo bebre because you don't instantly remember onye bibi sonku bia a ring bell and Tony pass mu papa na e ha adwene bebre I will provide that. That me no. I think say my year adwuma e wa manwesem ne amemwo mu for quite some time. Into my building links, my building relationships, I have the capacity to advocate. Say BBC can name the man it will go far. I don't think say omo na me printing na no. They have that capacity.
That capacity.
So I must say me the man too mu be ko akire. And na wo ye can ni and now ye anamusini representative. That is one major quality. Eye suba ko ese wunya. So what do I know to asem we kwa akiri ana that is what you need asem no kwa akiri a enema emwa ewo no ye twen into there are many advantages delegates ewo AAK no omunim pefe se meba metumi aye e de abo afei mpuntu dwuma and the cake be any be but to be able to do that never when you can papa the mu do the dim do our can sabi a bit do bedroom na yet to me about the young into me I'm hopeful say a idea and couldn't give about man I've told myself say this time you see a young lady
okay
a human form to begin with the internal contests into some basa ne attending I see a man of coffee send a beya you bet me a cambo near year juma I think I'm on course. I have my strategies now.
As you said, no, for the primaries, it's almost a done deal.
Well, men can say done deal. I say you respect it.
No, from where I sit.
Anyway, I know your observation. But I say you do Buma delegates.
Yes.
Now we don't take them for granted. You must go to them. I see any more Kasa near Chomu Sentia. As I'm I'm focused on that. Yes, I mean, I'm not going to be complacent because I won.
Sure, the last time. No. My point really is even about the general elections.
Yes.
I have about 2024. It's been said, no two elections are the same.
That is true.
And a bit me about say yes, we need to be close to gap, no 176. But going into 2024, maybe Nipa on a contest here, you know. I hear something fundamentally different in the constituency.
In fact, in 2020, menya 2,000 more votes as in President Mahama.
Okay, our constituency.
Which means say MPP for be crowd me too. Say medium anymore a year compared to our candidates. I thought me no be soon could be anywhere. Oh my and then know say it's one of the most deprived constituencies I work on. MP on any bia what they to talk ne fefo what they to talk other constituencies what they to talk the afufro ye even in central region that means okay chiri crack nancy aye ranking omo ankasa research director ewo your friends Flaster House aye ranking of MP so to 213 say bisa now MP na more than what you say here you are not going to see significant development any be papa bia wo inti e bibia sign between 2020 and a shame crying say or be ye bibi papa bi atoaso and I feel so general governance akoso in the last 6 years ama ahohire no hia any abebe sabakana for so they be aka ye they have not seen any improvements in their lives
and I say be your constituency watch here called Mori
yes
so okay
yes very heated
very heated no because of more here landing is it fishing harbor to landing beach
me no work say sadie no Edin Sakra could be ababum. So we come here basic amenities. I am put market get here they been home. We call all the communities 265 communities they are very deprived. Even major towns no cry that's why grandpa see when they get abudu Canada and now be brew ha omunibi you sometimes a quine kakra obe ya farm and tell na nipa et media koneba na bi there's a lot of development shortfalls. There's a huge deficit. Just a scene talk a siapa. Ewo kwanya wasenka ye tumpon ye nya ye no. Inti no will not stand the MPP candidates in good stead. Onye MP will deliver to begin with. Now why party cry pool now to 2013 out of 213 out of 275. And clearly shows say enya dia obodo no eso ni. Inti the general election no will provide opportunity. Ama kwenya beda ho. Ama ye nipa no edi nkomo yi ama mehu enisuade hu no ene ne ma papa ye wo ede ma wo me. Na me ne mom de have dedicated myself say me ye a worthy representative. Me ye kasama afo a me kasama eki eni asem no ato mpanimfo asom. Na me aso mahwe atwe bi de aba. Na eba adesua asem eba eye adwuma asem because memro dodo na no number one issue
employment.
Edomanim employment. Dan okora no muhia. They express that. Da man for the request ba me hia adwuma. Nti eno no your hawa abeda ho a was any menu ya hwe na ye di ho adwuma. Nti omo di 2 minutes mensa eyade ameye. We no nya niam ye president MP no tumi. Na obi a sabi ne din bokra ye den no. Ene meka se hwan ne MP4 efutu a wonwe ho mienu. Meka se hwan no ye meka MP before of asia ye bi MP a wonwe ho mienu. You know. Well, now can you say same for your MP? What is the difference between Sankrofo and the MP? No, the difference is that they are able to advocate. They have capacity away only be. Into a man seen to Nabana. So we need capacity to reflect in your performance on the ground. Into my uncle baby. So what pay your hoko kepusa? Record say MP. Yeah, Kepo South. Oko Kepo North. Raga. MP ho wo call commander Dr. Cadman Mills MP ho wo call Ejuma Kwan Atofos MP ho you see major improvements in the lives of the people by the eja ya konkon ho sa entabradu the tian say Ekosiisen na ye NDC seat bibi kakra
ma win da
oh you winning multiple times bibi kakra ne bai ena ma wontwe bi bai ntem ena 2016 ye lucy
mo lucy
nti ye sita akwenya da wo say ye bi
mo betima say
ye hia ne say ye be ye ne yi ni aka bo me stress unity ye hu hia pa na yetumi age ye gia ye be come back to reset you reset the constituency say ne be ya ne ma e betumi akoya ma ntimi wom de me wo in the
other thing will be the bigger central region.
Sure.
And the centrality to who becomes
president.
The president of Ghana. Yes, the ruling party. Recently, MPP for Kwakye reconciliation meeting in the region. Previous aspirants or more Elusu or more Irini members of parliament at the instance of the regional chairman and they said, say, with that particular sign, where central region is now a no-go area for the NDs, and they are reclaiming all lost seats. They are also coming back to factory setting. That should be a worry for more in the NDs.
And you worry, one bit say, we'll lose 13 seats in one fell swoop. Just yeah, but now seats and then Konyama Komako do me and son. Actually, what? Won't you make a resetting? Ewa bra. Won't you make one son Bibi Potia waya edim puntu abani panabra. Sabi whether MPP so mo kunto kwa man kunto kwa. Eno no mfa central region for. Central region for aba mo koto no mo nkoto because into kwesi MPP man na kwesi NDC. Omo hwe se party ben na won hye papa eboa nipa e wo no yedi.
Yes.
Se eno no eni hwa. Wo betu aye reconciliation meetings edan ma enya ade ade nsusu aso papa bi adaba. Nkugu omudi na afi 2020 no eye modern ma MPs na mo ene ma ne ba sa menyi ni se wokọ constituencies na se MPs no ene omo party for kontokwa ena nka MP anasa aban na ye bi papa wo hanka be fa amanfo no ana mebwa 2014 MP ntokwa me no manko no Ghana ha between 2014 2016 omo twense kan ne mbaba eburu omo ho ewo omo headquarters ne miamia bebi nipa ku kura wi ewo santokwa esi but they still won elections. Inti for me, adi amanfo hwe ede to FM ene se wabo ho modern ewo constituency bia na o man anim so won ho modern a it doesn't matter how many reconciliatory talks you na any event no so we party na at this stage ene we say we reconciliation e de o man share won sa 2020 ahantan ne ahomaso nti nipa ebo a wo ma wodi nkunim no wutwa wo mu jae na wodi nkugo we e dia wodi make say we reconciliation so they should come on board at the time a wo modern mo enso ani wo form a it's not going to yield any food raise. Until me hu omo banders no mo process na ade a. Omo de sensen e bi e be say e keni ade e hu. But for me ne mpuso me. Enya ade e be say bia. Ndi no kwa wo me say ye be this is kwa ka. We ke ye agi aka ho. Ye agi mfantema aka ho.
Central region.
Mfantema
should be Mankesim,
yes. I wanna MP no.
Yeah, Ophelia, right?
Yeah, nikum no ya.
Yeah, omo babe. No just assist.
Yeah, just assist because ye niam yi. Na the non-performance. Na ye the viable candidates so na eba. Candidates are inspire confidence and nipa benyo omumu aresie mu se ombe ye adwuma e de aboa inti reconciliation talk ne de ayomo amontamu se omuntumi ensisi omofise mu ayomo amasem eno no mfa me ho papa but se yese ye mfa eye adansede enwu fom enkyere de omaya ombeto sini eno ho ena nipa wo mfimfini mantemu ehwe e de ato abatia wo se ne Ghana fo nyina be ye no after 2024 not about whether they are talking to each other or not.
There is one thing that make us a trend. I say there are a lot of young people are expressing interest in wanting to contest on the ticket of the NDC. For one, as a surprise now, if we say a normal trend.
Debbie, Obi, NDC, a free and a normal person, a bright party.
Yes.
A mebunu and a church party. Nipa or the party the buy and what they buy anyway 33 years. A year, Jerry John Rollins. Yes. At the time now, Mr. Kofi to be quiet. Only age out the joining government 23.
23 to be quiet.
Yes. No, 23 years and not joining the government. Mr. Atwa, when no more late 20s, early 30s. Even though Mark Snap, or my what am I saying, 30 to 40 years, they are still not even 70 years. Some of them, 94.7. Did I then a idea your man be no quine. MPP na Conservative Party said the with move for junior. Into which mean you'll be already 78 years now. We 80 years now. You're president. I 78 in advisor. Ewa Abraham maybe no party. Into one more man maybe no kwan. Now your mom dear, we've always believed in young people. I told you no. What's your Ghana population now? And I nipa Ghana now. So what's the scene? In maybe no. Aye nipa Ghana no. Emu hanche mo beye edusiani echiri 60% of
yes.
Into that demographic no is key. Want to make to share mine no. Ewa Abraham one form
maybe no come.
Now Nancy MPP say we. The friend saying, we are finished. Katie Amon. Our car say, you need to meanwhile, you have 60% of young people now. Our population, what person more about the mouth. If 60% of the population are youthful, the youth must have a say. Say, Mebuno, Enya Bibika, Ewo, Kwanya, your first woman. It is a Mebuno, who Jim, and where Yasa be Mebuno Biaki. These are highly accomplished young people. It be a lawyer. It be a pharmacist, it be a businessman, it be a seasoned political activist na ade. Nti omo wonim dia omo de beboa. Omo san so wa hoden ya wokeka. Ene abefo kwan ya fa so ye niema. New ideas. Eno na ma oman ekonanim.
Yeah, but that was where I was going to ask, say it's been often said, say ye no krese say eba the middle class or more school manim or more doctors or more lawyers or more business executives near they are more likely to want to support the NPP than the NDC. What do you think say as a sound with the NDC brander ama and the yehu we were pictures I'm sure you know say okay these are very young accomplished people.
Bobby Bibian's sign near some America NDC starting talks actually young people and saw Amanyoku no edidi djuma because they won penifo a omo kire yen kwan which is allowed. There's space for wisdom, there's space for experience, there's space for steady hands.
Yes.
And sakas here go to me a kire wo kwan na wanyera nti na ya kam yenu nyina bom ene ye dia ye djuma me say me deputy minister no be 31 years.
Okay.
Me me black baby minister no be 30 years.
Yes.
And James me ade James agene bati nyina they were young people. Omo bodem no won to me nkase si ntwo wo they performing a man so any say
FM.
Near Tiani say 4.7 middle class, and I don't necessarily think that they lean towards the MPP. You see, MPP they've lived on hype. Don't say omo bom ho safo him. And then Yankopon apom ho to mami hu say na hwe ni kutira yam. They have constituted the worst government in our history. Abaya money ho modern cry. Near Tiani say for some reason by dint of an accident of history, now omunya akwenya muma no empem bibi.
Okay.
Up until 2000 now akwenya omenya wa bemu just 2 years center Buzia
under Buzia, yes.
That was the time.
Yes.
And now yaba Fourth Republic up until 2016 now omenya akwenya ba akopa under president.
Yes.
But sisia no omenya sufficient time ama Ghana for into the myth bibia na ye dia kato manim se omunim de omunim de no nyina ne atete apansambo ne say it has been shattered into amanfo ehu NDC full hog ehu MPP full hog and they are able to show say na hwe ne kuti MPP omunim hwe in some means they have been completely hopeless just say o ma say o man no poto and until no nipa na they lived on that hype. Nipa na o ma dwe o mo se niam na ebinom wo kan ye no e de o mani nkosua mienu ye hu se sa na hwe ni omumu omuni bi papa bi ademai ba omia be ye dede he's been completely flat footed and wajira he cannot mention debt exchange and on to me more public debt sa words he on to me nka he cannot mention foreign exchange on to me nka anything about inflation on to me nka bibi an fa deficit ho e taboo words man we dwane and ye hwe na ye hu no can you imagine so obi a we head of economic management team pa yeah, debt exchange, the most significant redistribution of wealth in Ghana. Because when they say he will be blamed for the destruction of the economy. And so people are seeing that they were deceived. I feel so much when we say, and this is my crime. You blended experienced old guard, any youthful people are ideas so wonim diam wo kwan sron kwan fa so ye niema nti amafo hu say it is a safer place to be so we yebebunu a enu tina wo hu sa de nti you see we have always been an attractive brand just say we have suffered your friends saying misconceptions and misinformation kakra. Na mo emu dodo na ya mo nsentwefo ya mo so MPP fo so e kan sem akese ade me wazo na nya no kre mo nsentwefo ya na mo yes ade mo mo kwan e mo kan sem anya no kre ene no bro ni say it is visceral eno no yensew wa wo so na hwe okutukumo to nse ne masese nti you don't need to say much. It is someone say mebunu ba NDC mu e ya de papa. What it means ne say ya no ya gitumu say ne mesesa. Indeed the world over the age of leadership no drop.
Airdrop, yes.
It is. We've had a 39-year-old president of a major superpower, it is France. Obama be the US man, be no 47. Just a branch here, mono na nehujina nemoso. And many other examples.
Yes.
There was I think Hungary, right? Hungary. Omunya and Poland rather.
No, it's
Poland.
Yeah, Poland.
Omunya prime minister.
Yes.
Yes. They had one and already 32 years.
Yes.
Indeed, we call Finland. Prime Minister ni key leaders, finance minister ni for almost also cry mark. Into area says more and more young people are taking interest in politics and in governance. It is a welcome development. I feel so, and this there's a fair playing field. Just say you mo bia kwenya. Say what's a factor? Na criteria the better one, and I say ashenso dey the better one to me a factor. I dey be kwenya amwa. Nti many ajepa what it also means and say yeah, no, we find a way to reinvent ourselves all the time. Now, it is important in organizations. Say, I told nipa ni mufuno nipa. Into esa wo pekwa me so far ema afoforo ebeshem all the time. Until you must reinvent yourself. And isa wo too conservative. Now wo ma nipa wo na tena wa febo. We asa na, but you will grow stale. Just say so we second ya.
Wanu be
na mo esa ye na bewu. You are no longer sharp. Until esa wo pene and that is what the NDC does. It will be say, your mom may no quine, yet me my 30-year-old ministerial position. Now I hear Juma. I brought us a most yes, I did 9 people before I'm almost saying, say babies with sharp teeth because yes, I dear, Nanso, you know, Bessie and Ajin Kuntebuni Pepe Yefru. Almost 2 years, I did know. Through our performance and share well in Tino, you break his stereotype, no, I'm a ne. Mebunu do na edimeka ebe kan ti me hye mebunu no nkran so modu do na amra ye beje o ma wa wa tu no munya MPP a kasa akese kasa a omunu mo hwe ni kutre yom omunu mo na mo ho na so omosira pro so omunu mo na mo ho ye de o man so omosa no ma say no
how about the perception say we youth na o join the NDC more like, for the want of a better expression, a easy way out. Line in shutdown into we make a crowd be the name. But with the NPP, no key ne one.
And sir, near ten and is in penny for. Almost FM. The youth must be given the opportunity. It's almost sure huntem. Okay, my mom is a Messato.
Atwa
Ofi Public Office 1991. Satan now in the 40s.
91.
Yes, no, I hear Minister for Petroleum. In fact, on no and lay foundations for Ghana's new tax regime. Now, or a minister for revenue, and in fact, on none of our Professor Mills, okay, IRS. Ofi Abemu 1991 in his 40s, and on Ma Quenya, Emma in Bebuno, Afofro, Professor Mills, Ebeshim. Mr. Joseph Kwakye Ofi Abemu, he was in his 50s. In fact, no, actually late 40s.
Late 40s.
And Ocheno.
Yes.
He is still with the NDC or play advisory role in the background, but he's not frontal. On my member to say me kwan say yema emengrum. Sana Professor Ahoyenom, Kwesi Ahoyenom, any penifo aka ni nyina and ra President Mama Oshia former appointees ni bi. I want me who to say oh in penifo a omasom NDC ne Ghana man no mfie bebre omakwa ahomje mu e ba ase. But nipa nyina wo ho, but you will not see them competing with young ones for front row seats in government. And unti and now so we bebu no akwanya da ho. It's not that you won penny for pa bebre kwa. But omoma kwan emememu ba. NPP there in penny for no omko ba bia bibi omugina no omugina. Hwe I don't have anything against old age and also be aware.
Sure.
Old age is to be respected. Yeah. Experience counts. But how can you be 80 years and still be in government?
But he's an advisor.
How can you be? You don't need to be in government to offer advice to a government to what party now what party He is encumbering a position. It is possible to have a 40-year-old advisor anamebwa.
Sure.
It is possible to have a 35-year-old advisor. Inti MPP mu no wo ni bebunu bia o wonim de kakra e wa membo mo betumi tu o mampani ma Akufo ono kwai di be 78 already. Hwe omo flag bearer contest 70-year-old say ade e na edi animu. Wo inti empanifo no a block lane na nka mebunu no benya kwan e be wura MPP. Hwe se aban no mo ne ho modin. Na MPP for kra so any Ghana for nyina akọ bankru mu se say yen sakremu aban mu na afoforo bem. President say onye inti inka ebia MPP bebunu bia wako school kakra ye adwuma kakra o experience kakra obetumi de aboa but oye young man a obetumi de fresh ideas aba aban mu yesi ne kwan e na omo a boni beka say dead weight a sabi omo ne bibia biom e de mo mind because omo gas no aye empty asa petrol omo na sa still omo konkonko inti enye say bia the queue is shorter. The MDC is more accommodating. Ya makwan ma mebunu bewura yemu esne MPP. MPP no me a conservative party. Ya kase bibi a conservative. Chese tete sene ya de no sa na yenya. We are a progressive party, which means say ebre dania yes we dani bi. We flow with the times. Ebre dania ye dani bi. Until we are more flexible to change esne MPP. I don't see ena unhu se bebunu eba NDC mu di he is given the opportunity. Adam abana obeye penny when this he was just 27.
Deputy National Youth.
He was 27 years old. Yaman Akwenya ojina simpie so ekasa party dwumedie congress asena yaman kwa MPP bebunu be yaman kwa kwaya sade. Emebunu wo no meye chobe o meye MCs. Na nkokra be kasa. But
they will tell you say they've elected and somebody in his early 40s.
They are late comers. They are late comers to sade. Ebrebe atwemu nka eje ni boate na mbotwe no mu eje na secretary MPP nka 40-year-old bebunu de wo ye den wo NPP general secretary but they are late comers but they are not picking up fast enough. I say one or two favorites of some godfathers been omunya Akwenya na yeso so momoko. But in terms of the general observation, you go say the NDC is far more accommodating. And not only say mebunu my MPP before time and so. You go say bebunu be unity ani akana so.
Former primaries.
Oh, you go say MPP away this is something na or yawa gadre na ye skill near mama no in favor of younger people. Met me about it, but I don't think it is fair to them. Anytime me mode, you know. But I idea hard. So omo pese omo ya traje omo ya kono magana mebunu a. E so mo yo mo ne mayi. They must realize say Ghana, the population is getting younger and younger by the day. And you know, a mebunu no, so mu fefo mebunu e wa bem so mudi bi anima. E yo because they are more able to interact and relate to them. Essence be omo aye mpanifo because there's a certain gulf.
How about the claim say young men who enya opportunity, you know, in our leading political parties eba banmu ebebe ministers ebekwe members of parliament na ade no performance na match rhetoric na nti na de bia na easy see ebeka okay we mu na we experience mpanyifo mo
sasa na nya no kre mesra
enya no kre
abaya was you to say geriatric government just say abaya mpanyifo mu pa nkokra na mrewa mu pa but look at the output yeah de na mo say na mebunu mu no compare the output we did far better because we were innovative. You to make journey edit for back. Na atoma mpanifo no ma atum ama Akwenya say yenkonkoye. Ideas are generated by young people. Na omo we experience no e shape no aka say there be adwena de aba no eto asomeye na enso enye ni say ye ni say. Na waka bom wa ye ma na ye fe na ewie peye. But what share the output? What share insunsanso na? It is obvious. Say mpanifo no mo modern sing imbebu no. I don't think so. I don't think there's any basis. So because say yema bebunu kwan wanya. You see, the akoba any say na MPP because they are conservative in it no. Na omo nyin to mu say we bebunu a
obetimi aye.
Ya benye so obetimi aye. Say edi kan obedi penin.
Okay.
Na wodi penin so a woni akwenya say wo kire wadwe. It wo kire wadwe na you assertive a. Omo say we bebunu na wo kaseti am. That is the problem. They were conservative in thought. Because you see meje to mupa say you buni die mampeni. I see there's room for what you call irreverence. Edu baby a ensem ni bi wa say utumi pa mu ka e wa bra wonsuro echiri because it is necessary to move society forward. Say in the year kwaso na enya de papa. Na wo ka say obu a wo mampeni fo ni ade nti be ka wa no atumo e be say we were assertive e bra MPP NDC ma Akwenya me ni abla kwa mande bo ama James Kobie champion ya we were assertive. Yam fensuma ya kan ni nsem ya kan no bebre na bem what we predict as MP be no maye those is na ye kasa asem na manfo e boy so bo say ye nkasa yi but we have been proven right by every measure well nti eye peni ana MP form peni omo nyintum say we bebunu a nyakwenya na kire wadwen no e na omo de e kasa tia yi but enne no abeto dwa say there's room for young people na omo mebunu bemu anema ekoyi nti wo be hu a MPP mebunu bebre da kasa omo yem omo so omo tirim say impenifu a wo no e mo aje bibia afa omo bo omo penifo so bo da so omo aje bibia afa. Things must change in that part, otherwise they will die a natural death because there's no room for freshness.
But how is it then possible, sir? And may verify this claim, but how is it possible, sir? In almost all tertiary campuses, the NPP wins elections.
It has nothing to do with the I like the conversation we have.
Yes.
You see, this is today. My mother say I'll be blunt. I said the way Becca. Unim. Me na me I was in my 20s and I'm joining NDC in 2004.
Okay.
To my first point of call, na 10. Na me work
KUST.
94.7.
There was a time we used to take on our lectures frontally because normal per se omo ede ababone to yetimu fa NDC.
Subtle campaigns.
Exactly. Some of them are even overt.
Okay.
What happened? They said there are many institutions na MPP for Edano. So they used to pollute people again, especially because of our revolutionary past.
Yeah.
No more can somebody no. Obi kwe to me share obi say first saying Kwakye Ofosu. Na kan anybody we dem when this. That was the mindset and they been take a whole university campus. Obi wants a lecturer ko gina lecture theater. Na or cassette aban. Tribal bigotry. Na lecturer our classroom. But saying my friend about university no say they are impressionable.
Yeah.
I feel no my dream
AB.
Of secondary school no waba inti on shada and tin sembiase into the first point of contact a lecture obi a odi obuo ne die ma no ono no ka say ete say dia na ebe say if the lecturer is saying there it must be true then the way omo fa so chichire omo and sometimes the media blockade omo makwa ma NDC kran chradwen edu be bia wo NDC kran na wo kasa na wusuru ba yemu bi meni minu amosisama ene afoforo aka ye work here. You start here not in offer meeting. Nipa be yenum neba. In the heart of Ashanti region, the strongest of the MPP strongholds. Yeah, Juma by a year or two. Now you done in your mama. Hundreds of people showed up at our meeting because we gave them confidence. Say, and this is Sabi Yanchini Pani. Sabi Pedia say, no nipa moja. We have not sprouted horns and tails. Yeah, Monsam. Into what and they saw that our vision was better, our organization was superior. And people were complacent, they were arrogant, full of hubris, sometimes tribalism. That was what was happening, and we've suffered that on many university campuses. Just say there was a timer, Professor Yanka, now you're pro-vice chancellor for University of Ghana.
Yes.
Professor Mills, University of Ghana, lecture kakra. Oba radio so beka say they won't allow a party that is dying to come and hold. Yes, make sada na ama benua do tiase. Okay, bi chire ne pa. That was the mindset. Edu baby a so ya pese ye meeting crowd university comes on mpene because pressure is brought to bear. Make there was an incident 2007 Ghana 50. Na say omoye lecture e wo University campus. Mosi a public lecture. Na omakofa MPP flag bearer aspirants in Araba said they are speakers without a single representation from the NDC. It's the end for. We issued a statement to say Oman says line up now. We were going to rally students to boycott the program because it's an MPP program. So we were able to face off with the university administration and almost a sign near many the NDC representation.
At the time now we students.
Yeah, students. But it took courage because the environment was lopsided. Just say na Oma ya mani favor MPP so much. Not that MPP was substance be a saying. But deliberate propaganda and pollution and lectures in the university administrators say that is what was resulting in that. But I can tell you that situation is changing because we are students now we go school. Then now we can be a better crowd will be. As we go to ya, it be much 10,000 to live in a hostel for just one academic year. Now see a school be a I personally had to intervene in many cases to ensure say ebunmenya baby ada. So we are student now contest assembly and as we share fees are wutia ene. We share bra ma me bre e wo Ghana ha. And now mama say be bia n'ani afi kakra na odisika kakra esie akoto government bonds say yemfa nsihu no ma no na ne ho be kire no na o ka kire me say wo university campus na moto abama MPP na clearly you are misguided. Clearly no, you are not really looking at the issues objectively. A bigotry. Bigotry. What it means is that
why do you say
omo makwan ma NDC de yemfa yensemo nti meshe NDC emebu na work campus no nyina so meshe omun kran momu nsuro hwe omo fa akokudro ni nsi yenya adwuma. That situation and it doesn't persist anymore. It sometimes
the NPP would win
pedestrian propaganda. It has nothing to do with the fact say MPP intellectual. Masa obi say abronye wontumi no your original how can you lay claim to defense intellectualism abronye wontumi one omre former deputy attorney general your friend was say maybe didn't escape me
or say prempe
first contest no
the all goil no
exactly first contest the nisi wo lawyer penny papa and the wontumi so wontumi win in terms of intellectualism wontumi na fene as a prempe into to me could choose be say how do you come and tell me say party are we intellectual no or militant wing I to me ebo records e courts etu nyamagu party a most of intellectuals no mutu me ebro mo hwehwa mo nsekan e wo mo headquarters say kunipa. How do these relate to intellectualism? So what we suffered was prejudice and bigotry. Say ebia it was through a coup and a former party na ebia anko yenti ni pedi yawo. But in terms of quality, stand just a young Juma party and young people as Providence has shown in the last 6 years, say they have offered totally useless leadership to this country. It be so mad that is the worst. I don't think say we saw a champions government.
No.
But everybody who saw a champion can tell you that this situation is worse. Indeed, and a champion, no, we didn't do a domestic death testing. Yeah, you be a bond, sika, with all the difficulties that a champion faced, there was some, say, selective defaulting. But the government of Ghana did not default in a manner. Na a car, a main way, babyara. Na yeside no, na who they call for musi. So, in terms of performance, objective criteria, this is what I find here. The MPP does not deserve any support on any tertiary campus.
Baba, at the time you joined the NDC, said in your 20s. What was the push? And then, by the time, how aware were you?
I was aware. You see, me have a friend in Ano. Now, I used to like current affairs. What I used to do, many were down for be a friend Kofi Ano from Pongwaka baby.
Okay.
Many called JSS.
Okay.
But I had a strong interest in your friends. Current affairs. It's not the me and say, Eja or your four back, your mom is a music and so. It's not many Kofi.
Okay.
You can't see an album. Now I taught daily graphic. Now I taught Africa sports. And graphic sports. It's what from the sports. We used to read those. It's not where even though as far back as 92, we were boarding school. I was school be a friend in St. John's preparatory watch.
Okay.
Even at that tender age of 8 years now may follow a year election results. Now but I was following.
Yeah.
Omo boba metenase the whole night. Na me wiam na me radio kitwe bia medical school. E wo dormitory na me tie. Me ba JHS, so I used to do that. Na me follow me share CNN, BBC, 3 o'clock me say. It at the point na me in presence we are seeing in Edin at that tender age.
Okay.
Me call secondary school so sa. Oba na me gina ho ye argument was CBFM. Because I followed it. I used to read a lot. So because I like because Wesley Grammar I would dance man.
Oh, dance man Wesley Grammar. Okay.
I'm out for air ball. Then na me air dance na me to library read. So I used to follow it. Eventually, no, I was politically aware, but of course, in terms of partisan politics, there, na me knew but me, Satan Rollins are buying the was, and I used to see Rollins and Kasa, the lives of Tutubino, Atua, and I used to admire Satan the late Vivi Obin.
Yeah,
the title that is first say. Not the title first say presidential advisor on governmental affairs. Ebinumkas not a prime minister. So I used to follow all these people. Na manage kwan wo fa so eyo man yosem e carry am ho ne ade ade. Nti I had sympathies for the NDC. As at the time na me fa Rollins and admiration for Rollins. We are na I mean he was a nice looking man, young man, which means oboshi. Oboshi, I mean oye adwuma man so ani and all that. Nti me call university FM. And na me ko share madam from Mosisama. Now, only paying president. Moses is our PhD or New York.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Because she had a chemistry class. For some reason, now, chemistry class, no, it was a hotbed of politics on campus. Indeed, now Kenyan president, Tescom president, so her class was chemistry. In fact, and Gideon Buako. I think no also physics also.
Okay.
No also science related course. No also hoping. Until we used to meet and all that. Moses convinced me. So there was reason to join because he had heard me a couple of times engaging MPP for who were attacking Rollins' legacy. So I'm not any if you are from. I'm okay. The propaganda war I'm waging against Rollins' legacy handsome. I used to do battle with them all the time because I knew some of the issues. It's not more kind of cry. I used to apparently Moses was observing. So he made a conscious effort to poach me. Send me joining
on campus.
So there was a day Mustafa Hamid ne Haruna Dusu.
Okay.
On be debate bi
our campus.
Haruna Dusu completely fraud Mustafa. Me amada Mustafa Hamid. The body more so any. So it really gave me inspiration. So this young person, he shows brilliance. Or just what some last already if I have sympathies for Rollins any why don't I join? It's me join and I'm taking position in Tenin.
Okay.
So we started and a jumping for whom ya on my akwenya. Ama omtiti kakra and there yababedu bia yedun. But what I did, me say, I was not bigoted. Me mama infantine papa yekoni. But man ka say no, I must join a particular political party. Maybe unfortunately for me, my wofo
partisan.
They were not partisan.
Okay.
They were not partisan.
Okay.
But they know what buche mam na wa na me nana.
Okay.
But they were not partisan. Until they didn't have that overbearing influence. They say ebia your friend saying
party.
Yeah, but me nana na otunbrodo. No sanso ton isam.
Okay.
Into revolution time no. Nipa bi anom the competitors. Ekoka assembly chire revolution government say or hodi isam. Until you be chi ne ji ne isam ne ade. But despite that,
Asempa FM.
When you hatred be anka say kodwa anywhere na kodwa anyway. So I had the laxity to make my own choices. But Emebunu Bebre don't have that. Say a fearful phobia and because of sa incident change na chia you must join your friend saying
the other
plan. That is what the MPP has benefited from. But organically, people don't join them because of ideology.
You think so?
I think so. I'm join them because of ideology. Indeed, time may not permit us to go into further details. But I'm join them in terms of ideology because in any event, this is a party and now up until 2000. Now it's not been just 2 years. So what was it? Really? And then on my yard, actually say, but there were other factors it play into their hands because of the revolutionary past of the NPP.
But how is it then possible? Say anytime the NPP wins a general election, share percentage of Moody winning 54, 53. But when the NDC wins 50 point something, 51 point something.
In the year 1992, I think Rollins got almost 55% of the votes. The same for 1996. So I must say. But you see, what had happened, they say, there are two factors. MPP has concentration of support.
Okay.
In two regions, they vote because of large population numbers. Vote a certain way.
Yes.
The NDC also has similar, but the numbers are fewer. But what happened? They say over time now MPP nya kwenya mani bebre.
Okay.
So they had a certain natural favor. Say na omo ye amanfo akono because now amanfo share dem hu yi. Won say ne se me no mienu ye pre bibi una amanfo atemenka ehumia. You excite them because there's a certain expectation. I say ni pay so I must say until you are more like because many at least they've seen me. They may not like one or two things I'm here. But so they don't have a basis to assess you until so when you're but if you get the same time I get Nasa modern mono and in the media, they are no longer going to. So that is what has happened to them between them. And I'm certain. Say if he say 2024 about you will see. Say that thing was a myth to begin with. So I must say. Of course, they're tribal and it's no tribal when that one to you overcome it at some point because there's a new generation. One of the things I realized when I was in Kumasi was that now a month for our four catch room, Sekotoko was the team to support.
Sure.
Robert Mensa, Omaji,
Africa,
and Ned Yafeno, Champions League, Omaji 3 times now. But remember, don't in my generation. Tima na yehu se ne modern more so near has to because papa so ekotokoni but no akakotoko asem but me ne to work shebo ye hwe has no kotoko me has bo no eso ani has almost invisible fence from saying 64 battalion.
64 battalion.
They conquered everybody. But on boy is not F. Into me a young person. Now me ni kotoko history, me who kotoko exploits. Number back actually me say kotoko born homody. Yet on the field of play, me say has born homody. They are more likely to gravitate towards it's Hoko Kumasia. There's a large chunk of youthful House of Folk supporters, despite the fact that kotoko na traditional team. But SAR support is organic. It is based on assessment. Based on the evidence, not based on folklore. Papa. That is what a analogy, a football analogy. That is what the MPP benefited from because now Omunya Quenya do. But see, at least in the Fourth Republic, they've had as much time. And now by 2024, they would have had as much time as the NDC. The objective reality, in terms of comparison, in terms of performance, is that NDC bro MPP. So Obi Kotu Abana, there's no other motive apart from the fact say or share a modern bar. Nobody can tell me say they will get those percentages. And now the other issue too is that by 2000 or not NDC I think about 11 years.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. 19 years.
What 19?
What the PNDC come? It is natural. Say now you home be for at the time. And so there was something new, there was something catchy. It is not that we didn't offer much in terms of policy or things and ABB. But now I'm what ya bre. It is saying it doesn't matter say you would like to hear it. It's a man for so MPP share. By 2008, now 8 years. It was still not sufficient to match the number of years and MPP NDC at least by 2016. But between 2017 and everybody has seen it. The time is equal. In fact, more resources saying 600 billion against 248 billion. I'm for share performance now. There's not a single metric. Just say, so what will be the basis? So we now you don't suffer from tutorials bordering on prejudice and bigotry and ethnicity. And then motivation how can you go and vote for a government that has clearly failed that will be what is there? So I must say, what is required? They say, yeah, NDC for no. We will take the electorate seriously. And despite MPP failure, we will form a better government. And we will do that. President Mama, and then Yami had with your member for Nigeria.
Okay.
It could be from West African elders. A group of former West African leaders. Prominent citizens. They are basically a mediatory team. Almost election observers. Until once an idea, so anything can happen in elections. Until he has been invited to lead that group in Nigeria. Senebea say, "Won't you be here? They can immediately mediate into Nigeria."
Okay.
Now make sure there by 28th, he will be back.
28th this month.
Oba in the days after that, no. Obejina simply so. Now only Ghana for watch what he believes his vision is, and
the vision and policy alternatives.
Yes, even if it is not detailed, because to me, but he will give indication of saying here. I was a Ghana for to Aba and he will do that. That is a detailed fencing because we will take the electorate seriously. But baseline, so we'll share more than of two parties now. The NDC is head and shoulders ahead of MPP. Inti sa bet about moving election, there's no longer there because there's no myth anymore. You very be artifice. Just be a woman at nothing. What pen to maybe not be free. Sound man,
a free
and modern money and so until now the MPP is seen for who they are. Obi just they are not special. There's nothing special about them. Now, only a braggers and muja and I know muja. So the dynamics have changed considerably. Now, MP performance week, what it has done to them, they will feel the effects several years, several electoral cycles down the line because it will sink in. People now have perspective. Just what's actually. Obi, when if you are one of the best presenters in the country, without doubt. When if you have you seen a prominent figure apart from political leaders? A former president can demonstrate, and I say a significant political figure can demonstrate. Have you seen a prominent figure to say former chief justice? With me, Babontin. You can't necessarily say so. NDC.
Yeah.
Eba Bontin, Eba demonstrating against, and publicly is able to scold a ruling government in a manner Justice Sofakufu. It has never happened. That Ben who say pensioners, Ibikita Puma, near the day, Abueria Minister of Finance, they are taking on the finance minister to protect omo interest bia. So the NPP for it is unprecedented. They been see that. That means any problems. And indeed, Abembi and you are about your problems. Indeed, the business of governance is solving problems. But the SCD, it is unprecedented. They breach them. That was significantly. A best son Yama be Briama Manfu. It is MPP are counting on traditional ethno-tribal support and this prejudice now they were benefiting from now. It's no longer going to happen. Shane, once I'm penny for me, Roma come and not to. They are unable to speak. Just say, I'm ferry because Omodu will come to Roma MPP. They could vouch. Say MPP then come here at the asking. But I'm not seeing no to me because Omo is on my casa. They'll be reminded of the things and they cannot justify what is happening. And then MPP for be bonus they are crestfallen. Just say Abemu boo based on the governance. They may not be able to say it publicly because of corporate interests. But say when you see say and they themselves know it.
And are you by that saying, say the Ghanaian people now also see a way to political parties no will not say okay yehu NDC yehu MPP but yehu so say it is under the NPP and if we are seeing a pandemic, I hate it almost every economy. You think the Ghanaian people will discount that fact, that reality?
I'm about discount it to the extent to say Ghana phone you in pass and Ghana pen COVID affected.
Sure.
Say COVID can Ghana pen sabi na mimpengu manu de so na say earthquake anato yencham and na to yense na ato we na ye force majeure ye ho hwe anye yi a obi abeti ase. Say, no, it's not normal.
But that's what COVID did.
Yeah, but COVID did not affect Ghana alone. And if you want to assess, say, the AC nay excusable. What is the impact on COVID on other countries? The African country, but no some debt exchange. Local bondholders, Sika, say 82 billion, and I buy we are GFE bondholders for 82 billion. We name one African country, yes, I catch them. Traditionally, Ghana economy no. So we Nigeria we have the second biggest
in West
and strongest economy in West Africa. How is it say an economy with that stature no can suffer like this? Benin ni Togo ni Cote d'Ivoire na na omu nu baby na yenye do no in terms of development ni nyini kwanso no. How is it that omu no are not at a point yes omu ye bi. Which of these countries have inflation of 50% and above? Which of these countries have a sort of currency depreciation? Sierra Leone and fencing Liberia have they suffered that level of currency depreciation? No. A car no no was a man saying so. And in terms of COVID no the impact say nipa yari nipa ewu no menyini say no nipa no ewu dodo esene other countries try ehun hia and I say it is happen they managed it better than we did. They don't cry to rent na their mom citizens, yet they have not suffered the catastrophe. Niakobani say aban we no. The truth is that they have been appallingly incompetent. Just say, "Omu nime juma," and I feel so they were arrogant. Just say, "Almost to say omu winning aba by 1 million votes in 2016." To me, you omu pebia because enya denya Ghana for will prefer them to us. So they came with the mindset say, "Do omu pebia meye." So enya that assumption because I cannot understand. Say, "We are buying now." Wouldn't say. What Boka could be continue to do. Meanwhile, Nana Akufo-Addo, the first State of the Nation address, or say baby Anna Yeke could do 120 billion. The Bonia, the economy will not be allowed to collapse on his watch. From 120 billion, and Obi, last time a Bank of Ghana bought out, that was their November, their recent bulletin, but they covered up to November last year. Yeah, I'm saying a car near 575 billion. When say share sa bulletin anymore, they had a footnote under that table. Maybe I can one. Say it does not include SOE debts and special purpose vehicles. Say sign I do not.
Yeah.
SOE debts and sign I do not. The count the bomb one. If you are non kwano, I think we estimate and it is true. It's about 30 billion Ghana because Coco Body inquired the almost 15 billion. And a GMPC, the action bonds now they okay about 30 billion. And what you know, sir, a year for 44.5 billion Bank of Ghana securitized it because of the deficit finance from here and also can be. But a buyer converting into bonds. But it is still debt. The Yan is on at some point, but it is still debt. It took up almost 620 billion will be an increase of 500 billion in 6 years. Why? Meanwhile, a buying way in terms of revenue receipts, taxes, gold, export receipts, and oil. And friends saying Bosnia Yabonia almost 600 billion Ghana cedis. How do you get this sort of resources and just plant us into this? What the embeds na to be a TCM? No, I can't say COVID. Meanwhile, COVID so I have to be aware. So meanwhile, all our neighbors are now you're strong seeing one more in terms of economic standing. No, apart from Nigeria, no, are not suffering this. Russia, Ukraine was said as well.
Yeah, but all those neighbors, no, one would argue, say, when you take the CFA countries, and you know how their countries are regulated economically, countries are among part of the CFA zone, to say Nigeria, they are facing what we are facing, or even more.
No, the only exception is currency. But the currency doesn't just depreciate. The reason why the currency not perform is a lack of confidence. One, it's as if they cut too much to maintain. Between early 2021 and late 2022, almost $3 billion every year economy. Because there are clauses in agreements. If they want the money, if they do a cash call, you must pay. Because they didn't have confidence, they came for their money. And when the man said now they took off from in the last few months. Indeed, in the first 10 months of 2022, sitting now by 54%, unprecedented levels of depreciation. This year, it depreciated by 20%. And your normal depreciation based on demand. Say you're exporting your money here. It is not demand driven. People actually came for their money because of the lack of confidence in the economy, because of a car. A deliberate decision to borrow. And now, most of it went into consumption expenditure. And so they are running programs costing a year. They've not properly looked at the impact and the relevance. And you're just sloganeering. So a cano do is going into consumption, not investment. And our capital projects are.
It will pay for
it. Major donor funded projects. And as a project, the commercial loans here have come to a halt, including PTC, which you have a lot of interest in because of maybe a woof. It has gone to a halt because it is being funded with the commercial loan. Now, what defaulted on the payment of both external and domestic bonds on fiscal machine. It is economically, you know, it is a NFA so. Yaya near me in a minor say, Obi, and I'm sure you agree with me. At least, by first quarter of 2021, we all knew we were in trouble. Because we share Sikadodo and Yaka, that's we need 2021 and Kwano. You had the 92% of tax revenue. And a year debt servicing. 92% of tax revenue on debt servicing alone. At that point, you know, everybody knew, say, now you are home, we were in trouble. If you are in trouble, say there's an outlet. But there's an institution like the IMF which can do two things for you.
Yeah.
They can help restore confidence in your economy because people believe say omonoba ombesha mo aye niema yi omoma kwan ma wonye niema basabasa na osikasem no ankotachu. And number two, they can inject foreign exchange. They find the balance of payment support. Send ye beya with dollars a sort no ubenya bi aka ho na omasha mo akra ni yi. They will also stop you from central bank finance send and saying oma appointing advisors and when e bi ewo bank to ensure that they stick to fiscal discipline and monetary discipline. By first quarter 2021, we knew say this had to be done. They had to go to the IMF. But as I'm because of propaganda about me, 2016, and this room was people like me, they wouldn't go. I'm a president and Kasa say finance minister say almost change monasia man say ya copy pointer. Now, we went to the ambulance with our legs completely broken. The ambulance. IMF so almost been from Zanka in that state. By 45%. Obi, 45%. It is coming with fiscal adjustment of about 8%. Meanwhile, see near year and at least by 2021 first quarter, you call IMF now. I would have had to do about 2% of fiscal adjustment. But then you get 8% fiscal adjustment, which is taxes and cuts to critical expenditure, not discretionary expenditure, critical expenditure, plus a debt restructuring. Actually, I say your tier can also by 45%. The kind of yes is 20 billion. I say your test about 350 billion. 350 billion also your man for sika or the amount. It is a won't yadia and your much share play. Obi, maybe you've not abated your mind. Wasn't I saying Honorable Dr. Tofosen can say about 17 banks will be in distress because of Saudi way. I don't know whether you've seen the report. There's a report that says that 17 banks will collapse. That they are telling us, banks need to be including some state banks. About 70% of our revenue, no, if bond proceeds.
Sure.
If in 1 year, one more, coupon rate, they are losing 70% of their revenue. Obi, Asempa, if you lose even 30% of revenue, will you survive? Let alone a bank that depends on this to run their operations and be able to pay dividends to their shareholders. They, after destroying the economy by 2021, so they refused to seek an early remedy. Yeah, problem in 2014. And we sought help early. By 2015, you saw stability return. At least by 2018, back to normal. We were back to a single-digit deficit. Inflation had left 19% to 15%. Growth now started picking up, and we slowed down the rate of borrowing. The economic cost rose between 2015 and 2016. But when they sat down, currency no depreciation. What is the currency depreciation? About 150 billion Ghana cedis.
Account that, so yeah.
But currency depreciation, according to Baomiano, it is the most important indicator of economic performance. It is a currency name. Yeah, it means that you are not doing well. That is Baomiano's own prescription. One, intimacy, confidence. I think it's about time now. More social and before. You should not accept that excuse anymore because the objective facts HSA cannot be the case. Look, say COVID. It may yet Ghanaian economy Benin should collapse. Togo should collapse because Togo and not my in terms of standing economically. Economic might I want Togo with the greater respect. I want to say Accra in terms of size. Benin to say Abia Eastern region and I be so classy. Yet they are nowhere near the trouble. Because some deficits. Deficit means say COVID buy because and Omaka say now into your duty because shipments are there. That's how they say there's a port in Lome. There's a port in Abuja, Lagos. There's a port in Cote d'Ivoire. All those ports were closed. Almost all airports here too. So there was no trade. Into almost all, they needed to look after their citizens. Almost citizens no more or mass. Until you can say that they looked after their citizens, but they don't have the deficit. 2020 elections, we had 15.7% deficit. Now, say neighbors, they all had under 7% deficit. The difference is that we had an election. It's not buying person win. It's not Sikano or Seno in a manner that was not prudent. It's a self-inflicted. And your COVID, any Iraq, my friend saying, Ukraine talker. So in Tokana said that's all cost. Indeed, Nancy and no said, it is a Biden Namho, important mobile and Poland. In relation to Santoka, yeah. And that's all cost. But how is it? Say other countries are not facing what you are facing. If you know any country, Africa, and even our neighbors, say they are neighbors because we have similar characteristics. Your name are necessary. Which of them is doing domestic debt exchange? They say. But we have to do it because it is urgent.
Felix Kwakye Ofosu, a former Deputy Communications Minister. I'll come back to him and then we'll end with Enra. We heard, sir, former President Mahama, Nipebia Kwakofa nomination forms at the Amani. In fact, we've read stories, so Noah Tunenumutio, say he would put himself up to contest once again to lead the NDC into elections 2024. And for more, when say Felix A8 to the former president, I'll come back to him on that one. But we say Obi Kasayem Frama, tell Felix to give us a break because Ghanaians are going to vote massively for the NPP once again come 2024 because the NPP has delivered more of their manifesto promises made to Ghanaians. The NDC should give us a campaign message and stop thinking of the NPP failure and the hope that that would give them advantage come 2024. Ohineba Kwejo Poku Ewo Ashali Boche. And or do we about Hineba Kojopoku? Thank you. Let me see the other messages we have here. Nafe Yenshe Entras Fortune Alimi of the Daily Guide newspaper says Felix is talking as if he's just entering into politics. Ask him when he was a minister, how many jobs did he give to the youth? As he admitted, the seat had been won by the NDC severally. What did the previous MPs do to project the constituency? Please remind him once again that it was Rollins who gave them the babies with sharp teeth tag. Fortune Alimi and Odiwiaba Fortune. Good afternoon to you wherever you are. Messages no at door, so I'll try and read as many as I can. Nafi Yene Felix Atwa and Komono Eso. We say Obi. In our days as medical students and then junior doctors, we were extremely shy and afraid to be seen and known to have any form of association with the PNDC. Today, I can say that the NDC youth seem more enlightened in the subject of current affairs than the NPP youth. Look, President Akufo-Addo must be the very last old person to be voted for as president. Asem wo fear na eden asem wo fie na adwo ena kraman enya okay kraman enya dabre cry my beloved country Dr. Dakwa ewo Washington DC and Oduwe Abre Dr. Dakwa, thank you. Ekosiisen high asempa 94.7 FM. Where it be true, I was with him, Moses, Chiri, Pius Nkwa, and others. Felix was always at Katanga, always around facing off NPP fanatics. Onassis Kobe, and on the way, I pray all the way from the US of Onassis. Thank you. We said, Obi, please ask Felix. How many of the NPP flag bearer contenders are over 70? As a matter of fact, John Mahama is older than most of them. Felix should stop the age debate. Boache and the way about Fabi free and fa and kahon. This one says that Obi Francisca Oting became MP for Kwabri East on the ticket of the NPP at age 21. Remind Felix for me. We say, Obi, good afternoon. Felix is such a fine gentleman and always does good at what he does. But my challenge is with him is that he has never shut down the drive towards propagandism. Since I got to know him from his KNUST days, Obi Felix just admitted that no party wins elections based on resolution on internal wranglings, but immediately forgot he said the AAK seat originally belonged to the NDC before 2016 and that his party has patched up and will win the AAK seat from the NPP. Double standards. I can only wish him the best. Godi Owatema and Odiwe Abre Godi, thank you. Let me see the other ones we have here. We say Felix can wax lyrically, but nothing will make the NDC come back to power in 2024. It's not for nothing that the NPP always win in tertiary institutions across the country. There is a reason to that. NPP is the only hope for the youth. Dr. Baumia would win in 2024. Say Obama, ewo pokwase, the way a brain. We say Obi, what is Honorable Kwakye Ofosu saying? Is he telling us that the NDC is better than NPP? Gracious me. How many people can even come out boldly to support the NDC? Apart from people like okay, Obi, 2024 elections will be the easiest election for the NPP. Incorruptible Baumia versus Mr. Mahama. God's time is the best. George Kwating Ewo Adenta. And on the way about George Kwatin or Adenta. Ekosiisen high asempa 94.7 FM. In studio Felix Kwakye Ofosu, or a former deputy communications minister, NA or a NPP NDC parliamentary candidate hopeful for the Abra Aseibo Kwaman Kese constituency in the central region. After okay, so Obi, please tell Felix to relax. Alan Trematin is our next president. Manche Bruce the second.
Head of cabinet economic but just say even the 10 they are blaming each other for who has destroyed the economy. Where are some
cabinet subcommittee on the economy?
And obviously the same as head of the economic team. Just because someone will say you trouble about me. I mean clearly the party disagree. Complete disagree. Just a nyama aginsemo kra. Nyama aginsemo.
But follow me and for we in
all right.
Now, boss, former President Mahama, to all intent and purpose, were declaring intention.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Say, Obesan so contested you to be flag bearer. Yet, say, some unions bear and nine bin boom. ekokosra no esre ne se omosre na onsan mra eme contest na time no no wo ho no na nioma mu eye later na abose wo kan spare part dealers edit statement by say omo eba ho na ye concerned omo nye abose wo kan spare part dealers ankasa na ye politics and omo ye and all of that. What do you think has been that sole consideration? My boss sign agents officer sign baby.
Yeah, say there's one fundamental point. Assemble Ghana for you know to ejitum. They say no man at your pansam. It is a fundamental fact and debatable. So we the most rabid fanatic of the MPP grab ejiatum. Indeed, in Penifobit to say Alan Chamantin. Yeah. On what you know to work I say the way economy na yintino MPP is struggling to find a campaign message. Man saying Buachi Japan on also be can be say the way economy na ye no ama MPP campaign ye ayedi. So if leading figures of the MPP are saying in public meetings say Enema Tetia Pansama, who are we to argue with them? So that is a fundamental point. Say Enema Tetia Pansama. A fundamental point is also that they cannot form part of the solution to the problem because they are the problem. Inti Bawumiani Akufo-Addo ne Kenuforiata, they are the problem. So none of them, any impenifo can MPP who mebu omani nyina any party nyina no can present himself as the solution to the problem.
Not even the Alans, the Buachi.
Alan was in government for 6 years. Buachi Jakon waba Bermuda. Why na we unity na? One major. Jogata was a minister for railways.
Yes.
One unity and then on your major player in the MPP affairs and as a government. Only in IMP form can they are part of the group that has systematically destroyed our country and economy. It will be anyone who's own womb. Until they cannot form part. A fundamental principle, so they say, Sawoba Bemunwa Mohamodia, you will free home, you are voted out. That is a fundamental principle. So one more homodia, nobody promotes you, nobody class for you. The same principle MPP for Bay espoused in 2016. When I catch a Ghana for say more money to money. As to whether say a boy money or not, no, is debatable. We insist that we are better than the MPP. It is clear. The facts show. When I don't even need to recite anything for you. Obi any. I have facts. I have tried knowledge. It's in your DNA. Sign yes or dear. Then we must resolve our problem we're creating because it will last for generations. When say even our domestic debt exchange, almost say they are hoping say almost their debt to GDP ratio be about 55%. This is
by 2028.
It's almost quite to say the Omaya the Nana Crano and who since 2028 4 long years and now 6 years and 5 years from now and I able to me edidim. It's what it means is that they have left such a problem, almost created such a mess as a resolving. What by resolving mess is what you need the bonifeno steady hand, experience, and will be a way be that because at this stage you don't need experimentation. And yet, body I said be able it was you share experience, steady hand is what you need. Obia why be that somebody with a proven ability to resolve crisis because yenya a smaller economic crisis in said and President Mama Denim my resolve at least. Who compare Niema as of the time he was living a papa be he had the humility, the wisdom, the sense of judgment to take action. Our brother was until he did it and we got out of the mess. Now we no more there because of pride near whom they won't do what they have to do so that their opponents no end to me and say o man ye niema yi. Etosumi no President Mama ejitu say running sa Fourth Republic for some time, at least 30 years. And now, said the Parliament, 30th, your friend saying
parliamentary democracy.
We've run this Fourth Republic for 30 years. Definitely, on a Ghana for be a say, I see a sacred Muslim major constitutional, political, and governance reforms in the argument. MPP don't want you to say, the people are quite show any assassin. Now, President, even changing his government to crown to me party they don't believe in basic changes in direction. See a year near my no not your best sacra near money a day fresh blood 94.7 but President Mama he accepts said there's a need for significant change in the way near man. We may have done things in the past, some may have worked, some may not have worked, but we be a unity first order of business, I say a J or minus Casemni. We need to stabilize this economy and stop it from the decline. The crasher, Baumia, Edi Nima Air crash. Inti Baumia cannot be the solution to the problem he has created. President Mama has a superior record in terms of economic management. All the indicators show into our name dear, ye this year's BBS.
But the verdict on him by the Ghanaian people was in 2016.
No.
And that verdict was...
So what verdict should be passed on the MPP? What verdict? Verdict when you pass on MPP.
Yeah, so Ghanaians will not vote for your boss because of the failure of the NPP.
It was not. No. First of all, a fundamental point. They say, who failure, you are not retained. And after so you look at the performance objectively. If you come and replace me, say, oh, your papa same.
Yes.
Now, I'm still the one with the capacity to resolve it. I'm giving the opportunity. Why? Answer na MPP, Eba Bemu 2016. So now they had been in government from 2001 to 2008.
Yes.
And then Yantu Abenti Akufo-Addo Korea, Ghana for Sancho Abamani. What made them vote against him? It's because they thought to say, at the time, no, there was something that prevented him from being president. But later they accepted him. Except say, Wamon says from in the most spectacular way, I have been seen that. The sort of disappointment Akufo they are disappointed Ghana for, they've been seen that. But President Mama, no, he has a record that is superior. Or when they are, which me do says so cast away there, why are they? And more importantly, he is willing. Why are crado? Say I was here, sister Niema or Bessie. That is a quality MP Vuni. Omujidi say, oh my yard, yeah, any papa, and so much that's Regina. And Nunti, and a President Mama, why not going to say, I saw best of my name, no, Yenji. Nipa do na air friend, say Omra. But it is not a response to the call directly. On one case as a Nipa, as a political leader, when you are queen, you are betting a opposition. After near me, who said, on my way, see a J.
Miniko Jobun Sudin Komo about a week ago. His argument said John Mahama signed BOA, he's got 4 years. That practically is not enough to do the things you think he can do.
But when I said president, be able to have 4 years. Every mandate is 4 years.
Yes, it is renewed. Opportunity say will be renewed.
But it is renewed.
Yes.
And renewal I know is based on your performance.
Sure.
Inti say service have been paid as me any president. I will have 4 years, not 8 years. 10 and here 4 years. Inti president been 4 years. Inti the years all year within those 4 years to achieve objectives. It's not be. So be Shana name one. The person has a responsibility to continue. It's no president is guaranteed 8 years. No president is guaranteed 8 years. Into your 4 year tenure, unimpa. But it will be 4 years, a bed dance. As soon as you 8 years on my baby. You bet me, I shall boss it. You enter your man and send or send a good. It will never happen. Say, or my penny mamma bet now. Am I near to see a cost? But
that is where the Ghanaian people would ask you, say, yes, how mine we are, what painty this picture about, and a mobile sumua. Say, but Sika, Mother Bay or mine, I'm moving free. Moving yes, can free.
And again, yes, Kenya. It's the yes, give you so my.
That is where people say, okay, alternatives, no air day.
And I'm just saying, first of all, Omwe Kasano must accept the MPP has failed. Okay. Want to me who our performance is alternative. You must admit that the MPP has failed. And now if you fail, then you feel we program away. Say be na yen to me for won adwuma. Multimedia and penny I want now.
Sure.
And go and ask what is the other person bringing. They will get rid of you and get somebody. It's onwa ebisa alternative no must first honestly admit say MPP a failure, so they don't deserve to continue. That's the first point of call. We are now I should say across the field. Why the whole bioma obey to me or work capacity because I know Biano to me yes I did. And a neighbor work capacity no program being or deba. That is a conversation. But a woman goes to say the MPP has failed. Then you ask the opposition to bring alternatives. How do you ask for alternatives when you are not honest to accept say somebody has failed? Well, there were two classes of people yes I did. There were arrogant MPP supporters. Omanu numuja any hand time asomuma who are bigoted. Now omusu say omune yenyame omune desin obia eneneno amemona nkoyi ntino
omunse from
they are crestfallen, they are shattered, their confidence is gone. Into omu use say politicians are the same. What is the alternative no as a defense mechanism to prevent themselves to waking up to the reality say they have been a failure. And number 2, there were non-aligned people, MPP, NDC, but they are genuinely concerned about the future of this country. Omubi edi omore ko share Akufo-Addo MPP ni ba omuyamu. E na omedi omuhwamo. Se bia te se ebia oba na be ma. Wodu ani ato obi so be wa na wedi ohwamo. Nti wo ko another relationship wo wa yemhihie kakra. Because what we anhwe yi na emema na se ma nyina ate so it is natural to have the bonifant jetters ayemhihie. Say na when mo anya when betumi aya na. But no, you would have at least come to the realization, say, MPP cannot continue to stay in cabinet. They don't deserve it because someone say, oh man, it is a fact that must be admitted. Number 2, across the field, what are the others offering? The truth is that you see, even in terms of organizational ability and capacity, NDC is the next alternative. But what is NDC offering? A legitimate question. But the American say people must accept that the MPP has failed and don't deserve a renewal of their mandate. Then we move to alternatives. The alternative, and they say, when you're composite, Macabum in America, because I'm sure. President Mama, since 2020, we have 3 major public lectures. 94.7. Together, we have over 30 different policy alternatives. Indeed, 30. The year no UPSC about 3-4 months ago.
Yes.
On my 15. So what was our speech now? You can just Google it. You can read it out. 15, but they say, they won't even listen to the lecture. They won't pay attention. They will come and say there's no alternative. But some American in our Bomwa, the say there are 2 issues presently. Many workers say, Adia in Ghana for Kesepan. And they say, Sikasem ni Bejina.
Sure.
Omwa, I say Ghana Sikasem, Bawumia, Dikaino, cannot be part of the future in terms of resolving this matter because he cleared as in fact a do baby cry so there or say why is him papening now on onim the ekoso no hwe obi obedwa no ka kire say he was economic mizan and then all is him papening e wo economy onim ho hwe it is somebody like that cannot even begin to be considered
and what's all back close to anywhere near the presidency.
Look, offensive to even think so be from so be contest after doing this.
Really?
Yeah, your mind sick as a machine so what say how do you even come close to contest? What do you take Ghana for? When we say there are corporate organizations, CEOs say Omudi company they resign. Indeed, in some Asian countries they commit suicide out of shame and disgust. Now what say Omaisi Kasem say why should you be tolerated in anywhere near ballot paper? But I know comedian but the other issue.
Prepare man.
Oh, do we even need to prepare? Or the answer we answer bought the voice in the past and compare it to what is happening now. That's all. Anytime you can be. Say Obugana force service in period as a he should come. Now your money be shedding after doing this sort of distraction to the Ghanaian economy. And talk to me, the attorney said the 2 issues are the most important on the minds of Ghanaians. First of all, how do we get out of this crass mismanagement and distraction of the economy by Baumia, Akufo-Addo, and Oforiatta? So, issues of borrowing, currency depreciation, inflation, control. So that's the first order of business for any NDC government. The specifics, you will need time and proper documentation to. And we will communicate. Elections, 2020, your comprehensive manifesto. Now, some of the issues are still relevant. Some we may have to reject because any so I must say. And no. And number 2, there must be governance reforms. In fact, all politicians are the same. It is not even about the day-to-day running of the country in terms of specific policy, but it's about general governance. Any who sends Sakraibi Bim. In fact, the Benimo Kase S Gasha so. Sure. They are concerned. It is something that we must factor into the argument as a political party. Benimo Kase, the size of government is not hard. We must factor it in.
The powers of the president.
The powers of the president also. Judiciary, do we have sufficient confidence in them? Parliament, state institutions, do they have sufficient independence? Any regulatory mechanisms are a boa, Emma Omubu money, you'll be how no, and it is important. President Mama committing on say, Sani Mam you our priorities obey. It's not make us say, Oba, within a year about end of this month. So we'll address this in some detail. But by the time you bring a manifesto, all the conversations concerning these matters would have been clearly spelled out. It would be far better than anything MPP offer. But MPP, to begin with, Omon sem fata say ombenya Ghana ni biaba because they have disappointed and performed so poorly to a point they been see that Ghana. And when you put up that kind of performance, we a goalkeeper team you show 9-0 in a match. Won't mean can say we obia you share no 1-0 and now ball 1-1 it is not possible. By the same team, only the same opponents nation. Now, Obia about 9-0. Yabo be 1-1. I say, what didn't you pay because you didn't win. So at massive. Inti, Messi say, Sanko Mudiano. It is about our edge people like yourself. Any reasonable minded people, I want my say. We must all admit, say MPP, Felix, our conversation is dear. And yeah,
you don't have to lose sight of
you
that.
Cannot bypass it and go and ask for authority from your position if you don't acknowledge that. It is our MPP now to say, no, na better one. Now, when you would see it's not going to happen. Ghana for more kai. Share baby and not economy one now. Omuyi NDC few one. I ne assessance. I lose some member and this MPP at them. They will not do that. Ghana for actually already there's an 8-year cycle. I no crown no matter your performance, no, they feel say 8 years is enough. Into no bimra. And then there's this historical abysmal performance by Bawumia Akufo-Addo ne Kenufo-Yatta Ase Oman. So you can imagine what will happen to them. But what is most important going forward is here and say, young NDC, a viable alternative no, must demonstrate capacity to govern better. And no na ya committee ya see ya say ya tibiano. Ya ne Ghana for be this anko man ya friends ya team musem and you need to what to ja am Ghana for agi atum. We will learn lessons from the ACCCI. Ya meka enema ye ntumi ye me dada Ghana for and tonyom and kanka slogans nefia ye name say ye ntumi simply because we want to win power. I think say see adwon man obi the ACCCI no me no me no ya man ketenkete ya wo no bebre if we don't correct what has happened because a car ya the ACCCI no hwe we need 6 years to bring it to a certain level and then in between that time so we must work to reduce the quantum. It will mean a lot of painful sacrifices. Meanwhile, Abaya was they are not willing. Last and me who said miracles are better now trying to justify the Sa document 28 March 2022 on the Parliament. A report on the staff strength of the
presidency, office of the president.
It's a staff, not staffers. Miracles but now deliberately use staffers. Staffers your classification. You can be a staffer or your equivalent to a cabinet a minister of state. You can also be a presidential aider or you're equivalent to a deputy minister. Yes. But you was staff. The Akobane say MPP. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry saw a staffer. It will be a driver, no kita go to a staffer, our presidency. Obi at Facebook now or your propaganda. Your friend the house also a staffer. Near man go to no. Catch a man for say or a staffer. And people Obi a say Obi or your presidency be a staffer. No, it was a play on words and America's bay. But in terms of political appointees, Abembie niwa enya nipa dodwa ewo Akufo-Addo presidency mu. They have 337 political appointees. Anuni Abambe de nya sa 337 political appointees ni. Catch it. None. It is not justifiable. Another idea Abani say anytime you be a omeda so da bia then they create an agency. Obi uji di pa say factory see at this one you need another agency to do it. Ministry of Industrial Development Unit, GIPC, Free Zones Board. So we have sufficient institutions to be able to help build factories. You don't need a one district, one factory secretariat with leadership, staff, and accessories near equipment. A year, your friend saying Ghana Education Service Obi, they have been in existence for 70 years. In fact, they are the biggest organization in Ghana in terms of the capacity strength and the capacity to deliver. They are everywhere. The most remotest parts of the country. When you say headmasters, only a staff of Ghana Education Service. Sure. So they have structures and systems across the length and breadth of this country. Inti Yaka free SHS. The only difference they say you fees nanka. To do that, you don't need another agency. Indeed, all you need is disbursement from Ministry of Finance to Ministry of Education and IGS to be able to send through their system to the schools. That's all. You don't need another fencing. She say, Oko yeka. Oko Abra Sebu Kwamanka say this assembly. Our headquarters were Abrodunkwa. Omo education unit. Yeah. Our health. Our structures are. Some person musi KVIP. Some person musi classroom block one prejo. And now omu two borehole was a ometumi aye say abroad district hospital here ambulance you don't need to create a special development initiative ministries first and affairs secretariat to staff it and buy equipment and facilities for them. When yes na say the Abane Ghana Petroleum Hub Development Authority omo Middle Belt Development Authority, Coastal Development Authority, nothing. Why? Duplicating a Ministry of Local Government. They are also one of the most entrenched organizations in terms of structure. Omo baby, and I said, Omemu, Mantemu be our district assembly. So in terms of representation and having foot on the ground, no, omo capacity to do anything. So what person we be met me ayam.
Yeah, but in
so
a country,
in
a country where government needs to create jobs, you cannot be talking against
a job no should fulfill a specific need.
Yes.
So I must say.
Yes.
To say with program here we host for about 2 hours we engaging me. So you've engaged me.
Yes.
Do you need 3 representatives to do this? There we need 3 representatives on betina. It will be sabako. Now we say sabako. Yes, a duplication, a waste of resources on the part of your management because human why say yawa bemuno Ministry of Transport near minister on the late Gifativo and address by as deputy omo na ye adwuma ni indeed in terms of deliverables almost airports by for hu adwuma the largest most significant rail project in Ghana to date omo ye hu adwuma omo na we in charge of the maritime sector omo ye Tema port expansion which is now the second biggest port in West Africa apart from Lagos. Omo ye whole airport hu adwuma Terminal 3. Even the funding for both Tamale, in fact, Tamale first phase, Kumasi Airport first phase, no pay sikato for the next phases at Ewohono. But now, mammy, about way by you at a point, there was transport. I share buses and road transport. Your aviation, share your machine, and your railways. That then meant to say there were 6 ministers doing the job and not a mammy under. Said been paid as about which reasonable person can argue against say it makes more sense to merge these 3 ministries and let 1 or 2 people be in charge. What exceptional delivery? I don't know my Akufo-Addo buy said we see airport a Seneca to international airport now warranting the setting up of an aviation ministry. Omo buy a day eduma no my in the railways e be mada e ye tematum pakadan e ye ndisi eduma. All they have done is to award the contract and let it happen. You didn't need a special ministry to let that happen. Contract, it was signed with the Ministry of Transport.
But he listened to criticisms we not so from 125 to
that 125. No, it was an aberration. You see, and I can say it was arrogant posture. On my catch and say, a human no swam, so they need 125 people. And who's 125 people no, and who's meanwhile, ya can't or say on yet. Now saying about 3 weeks ago, they raised expectation. Oh, you're very reshuffle, you're very reshuffle. Now they were going to replace ministers or marriage need to contest flabbergasting contesting for other reasons. So, into the unwillingness to change, direction. See a baby before fro. Ama enyema aye ba omia na Akufo-Addo supervisor no. It's sufficient reason to kick them out. Na ye di obia president mama buy no. Say na also when this for omo ye. Yet he made Dakro in June 2014. Now me fee information ministry akoka ministry of communications. So we pooled resources, so you don't need more than a certain limit to be able to perform. It is possible to do it. Obi, we don't need 337 political appointees. We don't need an overseer of the national cathedral. Obi, your friend, maybe your friend of policy associate. What is a policy associate? Share your minister of information or deputy back. Your government spokesperson on infrastructure, government spokesperson on social services, government spokesperson on governance and security. And your communications director at the presidency. There were 2 deputy communications directors, Bako vice president office, Bako Eugene, deputy. And you want media advisor, and you want advisor to the media advisor, technical advisor to the. I mean, why? A deliberate dissipation of resources. Wait, Akufo-Addo ayé ho aso branch say on sesa. Inti say MP before pay juma. Enye kwa we near so e pay juma mo. The thing is that I'm to say me ne wo mienu nyina. We a media person. If the environment is okay, send your president mama through the program, a friend Accelerated Development Program 2000, you're launching under the Ministry of Communications that time. A BA, the frontiers of the communication sector, including broadcasting sector, and that is how you create jobs organically. Now, when you saw a basic and go creating ridiculous portfolios, in fact, be in this way and services, who create a juma. Oh, yes, I end this about officer. Until we should create jobs for 2 million of our supporters simply because you want power. That is, yes, see, I understand about many building here. In party, Niben, and a building here.
Felix,
so honestly, Akufo-Addo has been disappointing. But me repeat, say the first point of this discussion must be an honest
admission that they have
Akufo-Addo has failed. We in the end we are more than willing to offer alternatives, and we've done it over. And then now, it's here now. Your minority unpredictable. I don't go at forcing Jinapo. Any I don't know, man. Everything they said has come to pass. Yet, even I'm saying we don't provide alternatives.
Felix, we'll do this again.
Sure.
We wish you very well. And all the best. Felix Kwakye Ofosu, aide to the former president, he himself, former deputy information minister, former deputy communications minister, and Mwatenen.